Welcome to Dare to Soar with your host, Dr. RC. Dr. RC will empower, encourage, and strengthen you. She will help you to soar to your highest potential while instilling hope. Please welcome the host of Dare to Soar, Dr. RC.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very, very special edition of Dare to Soar. I am, and I'm giving my full name today. I am Dr. Terrellyn Rivers Cannon, of course, affectionately known as Dr. RC. And today, my heart is so filled with gratitude, excitement, and reflections as I celebrate an incredible milestone. You've been seeing me post on social media leading up to today. 9 years. Yes, it's been 9 years. I entitled the show today, 9 Years of Purpose, 1 year, One Voice of Impact, the Dare to Soar journey. 9 years ago, I stepped behind the microphone, which you can't see the microphone, but trust me, it's here, with a vision of not for fame, not for recognition, but a vision of creating a space where stories could be shared, voices could be elevated, and people could be inspired, recognized by their worth, embraced by their purpose, rise beyond their circumstances. What I could not have imagined was the impact this journey would have on my life, my very own life. And it truly has through hundreds of conversations. I can say thousands of conversations, actually, countless guests, thousands of listeners, and those listeners are you. Dare to Soar has become far more than a show. It's become a community, a platform, a movement. Oh gosh, and my heart begins to flutter as I share these words with you. And today I just want to invite you to take this journey with me. This journey that is going to reflect on where I've been, where we've been together, and how we celebrated, and where we are, and how we look ahead as well, and where we're going. So I want you to just to sit back where you are, and if you're walking, turn it, listening to this because you can hear it on various platforms, and join me as we celebrate 9 years of daring to soar. Ah, so in the beginning, where this vision takes flight, I love that because I've said daring to soar, where it takes flight, the best place to begin is in the beginning. As we say, and I can chuckle when I say that because that was a little pun there. Every journey has a beginning. And in that beginning, we have a starting point, of course. Every dream has a moment, when we first take shape of something, because you have to mold it, you have to massage it. When you look at how you want to begin something, every single cell, when we often look at that, we have an idea, a concept of how we want things to go. And for me, Dare to Soar began with a simple but powerful question. What if one connection could change a person's life? You guys know I am in the field of social work, school social work. And that's what it was all about. And is what the majority of the work that I do and the concept of that. But I wanted to bring others into the fold also, as I've done over that time. At the time, I was deeply immersed in the work and continue to be immersed in the work as a school social worker, serving children, families, and schools, communities as well. Every day, I encountered individuals who are carrying their stories, carrying that heavy load, and I can't even explore that. And I don't want to, deter from that or go from that because the stories become overwhelming with adversity, navigating the challenges, demonstrating the resilience, and creating the change despite the tremendous obstacles that individuals go through. Yet I often find myself thinking, there are so many voices that the world never gets an opportunity to hear. Social workers change lives, community leaders creating the impact as well. And that's important. Individuals who are overcoming personal struggles that, transforming their pain into purpose. And I wanted just to create a platform where those stories could be elevated. And I definitely want to take an opportunity to elevate that, not just for recognition and not for the applause, but because stories matter. I often tell my colleagues, if we don't tell our stories, somebody else will. And it's not just a story in the sense of telling a story, it's a story because it's telling your truth. And I want to say that and be honest and transparent about that. You see, stories connect us, stories inspire us, stories remind us that we are not alone in this. And from that desire, Dare to Soar was born. That's why that name came up. When I thought about that and why continuing on that path, why was it created? The vision was never simply about hosting a radio show, you see, because that could have easily been done. And it's no slight on anyone who they just, they want to do that. No slight on us, because I don't want anyone to say, well, Dr. RC said, no, that's not what Dr. RC is saying. I can only speak my truth and tell you how I pressed forward in this. You see, the vision was bigger than that. The microphone, the vision was about creating a space about inspiration and about information that could coexist as one together. A space where people could grow. Because when I bring information, I want it to expand individual horizons. It's a space where people could discover possibilities they may have never considered before. And that's what it's about. I wanted listeners to leave every episode feeling encouraged, empowered, and equipped. Also, I wanted someone listening even when they were driving in their car to work, because we know that there are different shifts in a day, or sitting at home, or just facing a difficult season. And Lord knows we have seasons at any moment in time. Your season may not be my season may not be your season. Or just lift an ear for someone just to remind them that you are capable of so much more. And more importantly, you have value as well. But also, your circumstances do not define your future. And as I look back now, I realize that Dare to Soar was never just a show. It was a mission, a calling, an extension of the work I have already dedicated my life through: social work, the advocacy, the leadership, and the service. And I'm going to let you pause and hold on to that, because I'm getting that signal. As you know, it is time for a commercial break. But remember, 9 years of purpose, one voice of impact, the Dare to Soar journey. Be right back after this commercial.
Dr. RC will share extraordinary resources and services that promote educational success, as well as making a difference in the lives of all social workers, as well as the lives of children, adolescents, and teens of today. She will have open discussions addressing many of the issues that we face about our youth, and how being employed in the uniquely skilled profession of social work for over 18 years has taught invaluable lessons through her personal experiences. She will also provide real-life facts, examples, and personal stories that will confirm that why serving as a child advocate is extremely beneficial when addressing the needs of the whole child. Listen live to Dare to Soar, Saturdays 10 a.m. Eastern, as Dr. RC will provide thought-provoking information that will empower, encourage, and strengthen students, families, and communities across our nation. You can also visit her at soarwithkatie.com. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness: Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals.
Welcome back. I am Dr. RC, your host, and yes, this is Dare to Soar. 9 years of purpose, one voice of impact, the Dare to Soar journey. I want to jump right back in, and this time I want to take you through the inspiration behind the name. People often ask me, why Dare to Soar? I love Dare to Soar. I love it. And this is the answer that, and it's actually quite simple because Dare to Soar requires courage. If many of you notice that my brand, Soar with Katie, there's an eagle, and I'm gonna dive into that too. So most people dream. I am a dreamer. I try to my very best to inspire, encourage, and you often hear me use those terms. Many people hope, but not everyone dares. You always hear that game people play. I dare you, and I may be dating myself, but that's okay. Also, it's nothing wrong with that. To soar means being willing to rise above fear. To soar means stepping beyond comfort zones. To soar means believing in possibilities that cannot yet be seen. To soar means trusting yourself enough to take flight, even when the outcome is uncertain. Whew, that's a lot, isn't it? So I wanted a title that would challenge people, definitely challenge people. A title that would remind listeners that gestures often begins when you decide to move beyond limitations, and you have to. So the word dare, it is intentional. It most certainly is, because courage is a choice. And I want you to hear me clearly, listeners. It is a choice. And every day we have an opportunity to choose courage over fear, to choose growth over stagnation, to choose possibility over limitation. That is what Dare to Soar has always represented. And these are Dr. RC's words. Everyone's interpretation is different, and that's okay. That's what makes us exceptional individuals. So that's why Dare to Soar came into play. Now you'll probably want to dive in a little deeper and ask me some questions. I can see it. I can feel your energy. So I'm here to go with you. And that's why this show is so important. And I thank God, and I can say that I thank God. So I don't want to offend anyone, but I have to tell you my truth. I have to speak my truth because I feel blessed to be able to have you to take these steps with me. So when I dive in, let's go into the mission and the purpose from day one. From the very beginning, the mission was clear to me. I wanted to inspire, I wanted to empower, I wanted to educate, and I wanted to elevate anyone who came into this space. And I truly, truly hope, along with the angels that I have above, and I'm going to talk about two of them that I have above, that I know that they're pouring energy consistently and constantly over me as I continue to walk this path. You see, I wanted to create meaningful conversations that make a difference. You see, over the years, we've discussed leadership, mental health, social work, education, advocacy, equity, resilience. And I know equity sometimes right now is not a great word, but I have to speak my truth. I have to do that. Resilience, entrepreneurship, personal growth, and community impact as well. But beneath every topic has always been one central message. Every person has purpose, regardless of your title, regardless of your background, regardless of your challenges. You have gifts and you have influence, believe it or not. You have something meaningful to contribute to this world. It is even the smallest things, whether you realize it or not, your accomplishment over everything. These 9 years, I hope that it has helped people recognize the power they already have in this process. You see, earlier challenges and lessons, I have to be honest about this. This journey was not always easy. Woo! If I can feel some sweat downpouring, woo, I can tell you, it hasn't been. Like many dreams, Dare to Soar started with far more passion than resources. There were moments of uncertainty. Anytime you start something new, there are uncertain moments. If I sat here and told you, oh my gosh, it was so easy, I wouldn't be telling you the truth. I wouldn't be honest with you. There were moments when there were self doubt. Of course, there were. I'm human, just like all of you are. Moments when I questioned whether anyone was listening. I can remember the very first time I got on the air, I was almost probably sweating bullets saying, oh, how am I going to fill up an hour's time? But it went just like that. And through God's grace, I made it through. And then the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one. There was moments when technology failed. Now that was, whoo, that was a feat. But you push through, you move forward. Moments when schedules change and you work through that too. Moments when things did not go according to plan. And that's, as they say, life is life. One of the greatest lessons I've learned was this: consistency matters more than perfection. You do not have to have everything figured out. You don't. In the beginning, you don't. It's impossible. You just simply have to begin. And that's what's important. Another lesson that I learned was that impact is not always immediately visible. It is not. Sometimes you do what you can. You do, you don't know who's listening, but you keep moving. Sometimes you don't know whose life you have touched, and you will touch many. People will come back and reflect. Sometimes you don't know how far your message has traveled. And I've learned that lesson also. But if you just continue showing up with authenticity and purpose, your impact will reach places you may never ever see. And perhaps the greatest lesson of all: purpose will sustain you when motivation fails. It truly will. These are the days that will sustain motivation. These are the days when life was demanding. Days will be balanced, professional responsibilities, your leadership, your commitments, families, and community sometimes may feel overwhelming, but purpose keeps calling you back more and more. And you keep showing up. Purpose keeps pushing you forward. And 9 years later, that purpose reminds you just as strong as it did from day one. It's time for another commercial break, guys. I'll be right back.
Did you know that your beliefs create your entire reality, but it's the subconscious beliefs that do most of the creating? Belief shifter and life coach Shiraz can help you identify those limiting beliefs and eliminate them, often in a single session.
Like it was almost instant, like I had relief right away.
Creating better health, relationships, careers, and finances. Let Shiraz help you step out of safety and into awareness.
Definitely something's happening. It's like a flow inside. You know, it feels good.
Whether in person or online, Shiraz provides personal coaching, belief shifting. Visit Shiraz at energeticmagic.com or call 416-529-7429. Energetic Magic. Find your greater happiness. Be well. Be aware. Be magical.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent, but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of the Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on the Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
Welcome back once again. Yes, this is Dare to Soar, and I am Dr. RC. As we continue celebrating 9 years of purpose, one voice of impact, the Dare to Soar journey, I want to spend a few moments reflecting on something that has become increasingly important to me over the years. Lessons. Because while accomplishments are wonderful, and they are, it is often the lessons learned along the way that truly, truly shape who we are. Over the past 9 years, I've interviewed leaders, educators, advocates, social workers, entrepreneurs, authors, change makers from across the country. Many have arrived at come from different backgrounds, experiences, etc. Yet there was one thing that they all seemed to have in common. They had they have learned how to keep moving forward despite challenges. That's something my aunt always tells me about doing. And through these conversations, as well as my own, people and professionals, with their experience, I have learned is lessons that continue to guide me each and every day. Leadership lessons, and they are very important. One of the greatest lessons I've learned about leadership is that leadership is not about the position. Leadership is about the influence. And I want you to hear me clearly on that. Too often, people believe that leadership begins when they receive a title or a promotion, an appointment, a seat at the table. But you see, true leadership begins long before that. Leadership begins when you choose a responsibility, begins when you choose the service. Leadership begins when you decide that your actions positively impact someone else's life. Reflect on that for a moment. Over the years, I've served in various leadership roles within schools, communities, state organizations, and national ones as well. I've had opportunities to lead initiatives, advocate, and change and represent causes that truly matter, that deeply, deeply matter to me. But I have learned that leadership is not measured by how many people you know who know your name. Leadership is measured by how many people are empowered because of your presence as well. The best leaders do not simply create followers, they create opportunities over others, meaning that how you grow them, they lead, they thrive as well. And perhaps the most important leadership lesson I've learned is this: leadership requires courage. Mm. Did you catch that? Leadership requires courage. And sometimes it means standing alone. And that's the biggest lesson ever. It means that you sometimes have to stand alone. It means that speaking when silence would be easier. And that's a tough one. Sometimes it means advocating for people whose voices are not being heard. Not always being comfortable, but it is necessary. And then being resilient also. If there's one word that has followed me throughout my life and career, it's resilience. Life has a way of testing us. Oh, I wish I could see your faces, but I feel your energy. There are lessons when things go according to plan, and then there are seasons when everything seems uncertain. You see, over the years, I've had experienced victories and setbacks, moments of celebrations and moments of disappointments, doors opening and doors that have closed as well. And they have been professional transitions, unexpected challenges also. But that's okay. Personal losses, moments, when I question what was next. Yet it's resilience that taught me something that was so powerful. You do not have to be unbreakable to be resilient. Resilience is not about never struggling. It's not. It's not about pretending that everything is fine. Resilience is about continuing to move forward, even when things are difficult, and things will get difficult from time to time. It's about choosing hope when uncertainty is present. One of my favorite reflections is this: storms do not come to determine your worth, they come to reveal your strength. And if I had some weights here, I could lift them with all my might because, you need it at those times. And every challenge I've faced has taught me that strength often has a place where comfort cannot. When you go through this, even about lessons when it comes to your purpose, over these 9 years, another truth has become crystal clear. It's the purpose is powerful, and it truly is. It's so powerful that it keeps you going when recognition is absent. Purpose is what sustains you when progress feels slow. It reminds us, you when you start in first place, that there will be moments throughout this journey when I could have focused on numbers, matrix, and external validation. But I've learned clearly and earlier on that purpose is far more important than popularity. And you have to take the highs, the lows, the ebbs, and the flows. Because when your work is rooted in purpose, every conversation matters, every listener matters, every opportunity to serve matters. It does. Purpose has guided me throughout my work as a school social worker, a national leader, a speaker, an author, a mentor, and a host as well. Success is about impact. The question is not how many people know your name. The question is this: whose life is better because you showed up? That in itself is purpose. But one thing I can't forget through all of this is what sustains me and constantly holds me together is the lessons that I learned early on about faith and perseverance. Because had I not had that to hold on through as I go through all of this, I can't say where I would be. And that's for me, Dr. RC. I can't speak about anybody else, but I can only tell you my truth. Now, I cannot discuss this journey without talking about my faith, but I'm going to give you that right after this commercial break. Be right back.
Mike Zorek, a three-time California state champion in Greco-Roman wrestling at 114 pounds. Mike, blind since birth, was born in Hartford, Connecticut. He was a six-time national placer, including 2 seconds, 2/3, and 2/4. He also won the Veterans Folk-Style Wrestling twice at 152 pounds. In all these tournaments, he was the only blind competitor. Nancy Zorek, a creative spirit whose talents have taken her to the stage and into galleries and exhibitions in several states. Her father, a commercial artist who shared his instruments with his daughter and helped her fine-tune her natural abilities, influenced her decision to follow in his footsteps. Ms. Zorek has enjoyed a fruitful career doing what she loves. Listen Saturday mornings at 12 Eastern for the Nancy and Mike Show for heartwarming stories and interesting talk. What if there were a super tiny device that could diagnose the brain and is smaller than a single human hair? What if you could see inside the brain to help an epilepsy patient during surgery or to help the fight against Parkinson's disease? Dr. Patricia Broderick is proud to announce the Broderick Probe, a biomedical and electronic breakthrough. Imagine a probe to help with the understanding and potential cure of brain-related diseases. To learn more, listen live to the Easy Sense radio show with host Dr. Broderick. And to help support the Broderick Foundation, please go to easysense.com and learn how, with your help, we can fight these horrific brain disorders. That's easysense.com to learn more and help support the Broderick Foundation.
Welcome back once again. 9 years of purpose. Oh, wow. I am elated to share this information with you. But as I shared right before the break, the lessons of faith and perseverance. There were moments when faith was the only thing that allowed me to continue. Because as I was going through, you can question yourself of uncertainty when technology is going, you don't know how many people are following, all those things. But you keep moving, you keep going because you know that you have a purpose. There's a purpose behind, there's a calling behind. Faith when opportunities seem distant, your faith when circumstances challenge you unexpectedly. One of the realities of life is that we often want certainty before we move, but faith asks us to move before certainty arrives. And it does. It asks us to trust, to believe, to continue. And perseverance becomes that champion of faith because perseverance says, keep going. And that's what faith is all about. Even when progress feels slow, even when obstacles appear, even when discouragement tries to convince you otherwise. Over these 9 years, I have learned the perseverance is often what separates dreams to remain ideas and helps it to become a reality. They are often the people who refuse to quit, and that's what it's all about. And then I have to remember about the importance of staying authentic as well. Perhaps the most valuable lesson of all has been the importance of remaining authentic. Once I remain authentic, that means that I can bring authentic information to each and every one of you, being true to the craft that I love so much. And that is important for me. Someone with a different platform, I want to bring that credibility to you. I want to connect with sincerity. I want to connect with transparency. And that's what it's all about. I have never wanted Dare to Soar to be a platform that pretends. I don't want to be that. I want to give you evidence. I want to bring you the research. I want to let you know that there's healing, there's joy, there are going to be breakthroughs in this work that's being done and being true to that. When I look at that, I think about personal reflections. As I reflect over these 9 years, I realize that the greatest lessons were never found in the destination. They were found in the journey. As I traveled throughout this time, the journey that taught me about resilience, and that resilience is a choice, that taught me that there's purpose matters, and that's important. And the journey that taught me that being authentic will always be more powerful than the perfection of it as well, because you're looking for that information and you want to be able to go back and define or refine or look at that as well. You see, your journey may not always be easy, but every lesson has the potential to prepare you for the purpose waiting ahead. And I want to always be clear about that. There are going to be challenges that you're going to face, very well may become, but they're wisdom that you're going to be able to share for the next day. And there are obstacles that you can overcome today may become someone else's inspiration for tomorrow. And that's going to be important. That's going to be clear. I want to share that information, be able to share that information as well when I bring you this information. There are some memorable highlights that when I think about this work, conversations that changed me throughout this work that I do. And when I reflect about that, I think about over this time, many people that assume that in doing this work, but the truth, it makes assumptions when you're doing this work, but you have to think about all that you bring to it and the impact that it has and those lessons that you learn over this time and the interviews that you've had and the community individuals and the work that they've brought into this and the research that they've taken the time to share also while doing this work. And I'm being completely honest, these conversations have changed me as well because you have those aha moments when you're doing this work and how you've served, how you advocate, and how you view the world also. Every person has a story. They have a story worth hearing. And I wanted to be that platform to create those opportunities. One of the most profound lessons I've learned is this: every person carries a story, as I've shared. I've always said that you deserve for your story to be heard. And I wanted that space to be open for that. Someone we're so focused on in the titles, accomplishments, that we forget that behind every position is a person, and it truly is a person who has faced obstacles or experiences or even setbacks that you're unaware of. Here's an opportunity to give factual information, detailed information. Sometimes people question themselves, did they do the right thing? But when they bring you that data, here is the truth. They've made sacrifices and proven facts. Time and time again, I've discovered that some of the most powerful stories speak the loudest, but they're not always heard. So here's the space that happen within school communities, organizations, every single day. And I wanted to have the opportunity to bring that to the light. Those conversations remind me of the impact, and the impact that's not always seen with visibility. Sometimes the most meaningful work happens when nobody is watching. Memorable guests who left that lasting impression throughout the years. I've had the privilege of welcoming them with remarkability as well. I've interviewed, the national level, the locals level, and they've spoken and been able to have that platform. And that was key, and that was a key element. And it was able to be shared and shared again, time and time again, with reflective moments. And then going back to those powerful moments to their school districts where they weren't aware, or their communities also, or their legislative in their areas also. That was powerful moments also. So over this time, those moments brought attention to the work that was being done as well. And once again, those aha moments came to light when that happened. Moments when listeners reached out forward, and it gave them courage to step out even further after they've shared that information. Conversations about educational equity that inspired advocacy. Conversations about the leadership that encouraged individuals to step into spaces that they never ever would imagine that they could do for themselves. And there were times I found that others were reaching out to them, wanting their contact information to say, how can I do this as well? And regurgitating that information or reaching back out to me saying, Dr. RC, thank you, because I needed to hear that too. It's time for another commercial break. I'll be right back.
Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness: Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Did you know that your beliefs create your entire reality, but it's the subconscious beliefs that do most of the creating? Belief shifter and life coach Shiraz can help you identify those limiting beliefs and eliminate them, often in a single session.
Like it was almost instant, like I had relief right away.
Creating better health, relationships, careers, and finances. Let Shiraz help you step out of safety and into awareness.
Definitely something's happening. It's like a flow inside. It feels good.
Whether in person or online, Shiraz provides personal coaching, belief shifting. Visit Shiraz at energeticmagic.com or call 416-529-7429. Energetic Magic. Find your greater happiness. Be well. Be aware. Be magical.
Welcome back once again. 9 years of purpose, one voice, one impact. I want to take a moment before I go any further and give a moment of gratitude to every guest who's ever joined Dare to Soar, to say thank you. Thank you for your honesty. Thank you for your vulnerability. Thank you for your expertise. Thank you for your willingness to share your experiences with the listeners from around the world. You may never know fully how many lives were touched because of your willingness to speak. Your impact matters and your voice matters also. And I had to plug that in after I've just shared, after the last segment, about individuals who've come on and been encouraged and empowered with their stories. That having this moment of gratitude, it means so much. It means a great deal. You just never know, by you being honest, vulnerable, and sharing your expertise, how many individuals you have touched. So, from the bottom of my heart, I am so appreciative for each and every one of you. And as I continue on, I know I'm going to have be blessed to have so many more come with me on Dare to Soar. So I'm going to thank you ahead, but I'm definitely going to thank you again. So continue on a personal reflection as I sit here, just kind of reflecting over this time, over these 9 years. Truth stands above all others. People change people, no titles, etc. But people do change people. No positions, accomplishments, the right conversations, the right moments can inspire someone keep going, to believe again, to heal, to lead, to advocate, to dream bigger as well. And I'm grateful beyond words that Dare to Soar has been a place where those conversations can happen. I'm so thankful for those opportunities. So, with that being said, when I think about the power of purpose, um, as we celebrate these 9 years, I can do nothing but continuously reflect on this time. And when I think about this time throughout the chapter of the life, the purpose has guided me through moments of, the uncertainty has carried me through seasons of transition as well, has helped me remain grounded when life changed unexpectedly, has reminded me that while titles may change, assignments may be evolved, and circumstances may shift, the reason we do not or we do what we do can remain constant. And if there is one thing I've learned over the years, it is this: purpose is not simply what we do. Purpose is why we do it as well. Many people spend their lives searching for success, and that can be good or bad. It just depends on the person and their preference. Search for success. Was it wars, positions, recognition, accomplishments, etc.? Once again, it depends on a person's preference. But purpose speaks to significance as well. Purpose answers a deeper question: why am I here? Purpose gives meaning to our work, direction, decisions, gives strength to our journey as well. When we look at the overall scheme of things, when your life is rooted in purpose, when you begin, understand all of it, experience the positive and your challenges, potential, all of those things that we go through, the highs and lows, and how we work, when we educate, when we empower, we advocate, we're inspired to create pathways as well, to create the pathways where barriers once existed, to help others to recognize the work of our own potential, the purpose to become the foundation of what we do. Also, all of those things tie into that. So, how does it sustain us through seasons? The ebbs and flows that we go through in life. We have to look at all of those things, and we keep moving, we keep pushing all of those things as well. So I go all of that to say that, we all have our journeys. So I want to talk to you about a little bit about my own leadership journey that I had. And as I reflect on my own leadership journey, I'm reminded that leadership opportunities often arrive as assignments that I really never anticipated. I did not begin my career, just seeking out titles. I really didn't. Um, I began my career seeking opportunities to just make a difference, and that was the goal for it. And yet, purpose continued opening doors for me, and that was through God's grace. And I can honestly say that's how it happened. I've had the privilege of serving in leadership roles at local, state, and national levels. I've served students and families in rural communities, urban communities, metro communities, and military connected communities as well. I have advocated for educational equity. I've championed mental wellness. I've worked alongside remarkable professionals dedicated to improving outcomes for children and families, and at every opportunity reinforce the same lessons of leadership and about being in front as well. Leadership is, just about helping others to move forward. I have been National School Social Worker of the Year, one of the most humbling moments of my career. And I can honestly say that it occurred when I was named National School Social Worker of the Year. Dr. Arce, well, why was that so humbling? Well, let me tell you, it was humbling for me because when I found out I was named National School Social Worker of the Year, it was humbling because I was the first recipient of Georgia and the first African American also for the organization. And that was an honor for me and a humbling honor. I understood that that honor represented something larger, much larger than me. It represented every school social worker who works tirelessly behind the scenes. You see, it represented every professional advocating for students whose voices are often unheard. It represented the importance of visibility for our profession, but perhaps most importantly, it reminded me that excellence matters, not because we were pursuing awards, but because students deserve our very best. The recognition strengthened my community or my commitment to continuing serving, advocating, and leading with purpose as well. I'm going to tell you about another exciting opportunity that I had right after this break, also.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of The Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on The Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
Dr. RC will share extraordinary resources and services that promote educational success, as well as making a difference in the lives of all social workers, as well as the lives of children, adolescents, and teens of today. She will have open discussions addressing many of the issues that we face about our youth and how being employed in the uniquely skilled profession of social work for over 18 years has taught invaluable lessons through her personal experiences. She will also provide real-life facts, examples, and personal stories that will confirm that why serving as a child advocate is extremely beneficial when addressing the needs of the whole child. Listen live to Dare to Soar, Saturdays 10 a.m. Eastern, as Dr. RC will provide thought-provoking information that will empower, encourage, and strengthen students, families, and communities across our nation. You can also visit her at soarwithkatie.com.
Welcome back once again. Oh, an hour goes so quickly. So, as I'm beginning to wrap up, um, Another defining chapter that I had was when I became president of the National School Social Work Association of America. And it represented progress to become the first elected African American president of the organization in a 30-year history was both an honor, but also a responsibility as well, because it represented progress, it represented possibility also. It represented the importance of ensuring that leadership spaces reflected the diversity of communities we serve. The experience taught me that valuable lessons about advocacy, governance, collaboration, and courage. It also reinforced my belief that leadership should always create opportunities for others, because true leadership is not measured by what happens during your term. It is measured by what continues after you've gone also. Some other opportunities, the power of being able to speak, writing, and publishing. Also, when I look at all of these things that have taken place, the 9 years that I have been able to be blessed to be on the air, it has truly strengthened all that I have been able to bring to the table. And I'm looking forward to what is coming up next. I have to be thankful for the individual who got me started in this field, my auntie Katie Mae Rivers Tyndall. You guys have heard me speak about her so often. That's who introduced me to the field of social work. But I also have to give a thankful shout out to my grandmother, Mrs. Hattie Mae Rivers, uh, who my wellness journal, Reclaim Your Power, is written in honor of as well, who gave me the foundation of faith in God. I have to give a shout out, but I also have to give a shout out to my husband. You hear me talk about the military, my rock. I have to give a shout out to him. If I didn't, he would be saying, "Well, what about me?" But I'm joking and I'm laughing about that, but I do, because throughout the time in this field, he is not a social worker by any means. But whenever I needed an errand or anything done, you would have thought he was a social worker, because he would run to and here and there to do all that. But as I wrap up, guys, just thank you so much for staying in this with me, traveling each and every Saturday. And I say traveling because whether you're listening by ear or in your car or you're watching live, from the bottom of my heart, please know that I'm so appreciative. When I reflect about this journey, I'm reminded that the best chapters of our lives are often the ones we've not written yet. And I have so much more to write. These 9 years, I took a leap of faith and launched a platform built on the purpose. And today, I am so grateful for every lesson, every guest, every listener, every opportunity that each person has brought. And I'm so thankful for all of that. I'm excited about what's to come next. There are voices to elevate, there's impact, there is dreams to pursue, and there are opportunities to soar. The greatest chapters of our lives are not found in what we already accomplished. They are discovered in what we will still have the courage to pursue. Remember, when life attempts to place limits on your potential, let your purpose remind you that you were created to soar. Take care of yourselves, and remember, never be afraid to spread your wings and elevate to new heights. Take care and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
This has been Dare to Soar with your host, Dr. RC. Come take a ride and soar to your highest level possible each week on Dr. RC's Dare to Soar.